A lot of people are talking about home rule right now, and we have an election here in Collinsville on November 8th where we, the people of Collinsville, have the unique opportunity to eliminate home rule. You may have noticed the city council and city employees' aggressive campaign to keep home rule. The intensity of their campaign and their use of fear alone is a sign that we need to take a closer look at home rule and why they really want to hold on to this broad power over the residents. So, what is home rule and why should we care about it? We're going to explain home rule and then we're going to show you what the ballot will look like so you're ready for it. Home rule is a designation that an Illinois city gets from Springfield once it reaches 25,000 residents. This designation transforms the local government into a much more powerful superunit of government with much more authority over we, the people of Collinsville, and our pocketbooks. Home rule centralizes and consolidates power into the hands of 5 council members and an unelected city manager. This superunit of local government can now impose new taxes without limit, incur debt without limit, and require licensing for anything they want and impose restrictive regulations over and above state regulations. And with home rule, they do not need our permission for any of it. Proponents will say that home rule gives them independence from Springfield, when in reality, it gives them independence from you. It strips the safeguards put in place, giving the council the power to create more stringent regulations than already exist, raise real estate taxes without limit, and enact new sales taxes without limit. Home rule creates home rulers. The city spent $357,000 in 2005 to conduct a special census in order to gain this power from Springfield. Since then, total spending and employee payroll has nearly doubled, while the resident population continues to shrink. So, what happened under home rule in Collinsville? The City Council instituted a variety of new taxes, new fees, new fines, and new regulations. It increased our debt load from $2 million to almost $60 million in 17 years, and it did so without our permission, input, or vote. With home rule, the City Council has a never-ending revenue source, which incentivizes bigger spending and bigger risks. Under home rule, Collinsville has strayed from core city services and ventured into the territory of private enterprises like speculative real estate. It owns and operates a convention center and a water park, and has created a marketing department complete with a podcast and video studio that would be the envy of any business in town. All of this will continue to require more and more of your hard-earned money. Now, let's take a look at the possibilities home rule opens up. Without home rule, if the city wanted to raise property tax more than 5%, it would trigger the truth in taxation law, requiring them to justify why they need to do so and allowing resident input. With home rule, they are exempt from this law, and there is no limit to how much they can raise the property taxes. Without home rule, if the city wanted to incur debt, it has to propose a public referendum, and we would have the chance to vote on it. With home rule, you are stripped of the right to vote on it, and there is no limit to how much the debt the city can incur or for what purpose. Without home rule, if the city wanted to enact a new sales tax or increase an existing sales tax, it would require public referendum, and we would have the chance to vote on it. The city council would have to create a business case and justify why it wanted to do so, and it would be limited to a 1% increase. With home rule, you get stripped of the right to vote on it, and there is no limit to the increase or restrictions on how the city uses the funds. This is just the beginning. The sky is the limit when it comes to new taxes and fees that they can implement but have not yet. One only needs to look at other home rule towns that have had this power for longer to see how many more taxes, fees, and regulations get dreamed up. Left your garbage can out an extra day? Fine. Drink soda? Use gasoline? Tax. Plastic bags? Netflix? Bottled water? Tax. Selling your home? Government permission slip and inspection fee required. Home rule essentially allows a government to operate without a constitution and eliminates the checks and balances that would otherwise be in place. Home rule eliminates us, the voters and residents of Collinsville, from the process. The city council doesn't have to inform us or seek our permission. It can do what it wants with taxes, debt, fees, and new regulations over the residents. It's like handing the city council our credit card and then looking the other way. With home rule, all the power goes to the council and none to the people of Collinsville. Now you can see why they are so intent on retaining their home rule power. In the last year alone, the city decided to add nearly $1.5 million in payroll and a fancy new marketing department. despite the population of Collinsville shrinking. We're getting smaller, and they're getting bigger. Let's put some checks, balances, and resident safeguards back in place. Now, on voting day, the wording on the ballot can be very confusing, so let's go over what you'll see on the ballot. There will be a proposition on the back page labeled City of Collinsville Binding Public Question. The question will state, shall the City of Collinsville cease to be a home rule unit? Voting yes will stop home rule, reclaiming our independence and voice on taxing and debt matters. Voting no will keep home rule, taking away your voice on debt, taxes, and regulations, and power will stay centralized with the 5 council members and unelected city manager. So, read the ballot carefully, educate yourself, think critically, then decide for yourself. If you want to reclaim a say on what you pay and reclaim our independence as Collinsville residents without the city ruling over you, then vote yes to stop home rule on November 8th.